Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam. I'm Mike, and I'm here with Alex.
Hi, Mike.
And his special guest, Patrick, or Pat. Which one do you go by?
Either one's fine. We'll
go to Pat. This is a laid-back podcast, so.
He's my special guest, so I will talk to him.
Yes. That's why I introduced him as your special guest, because this is the first time I'm meeting this fellow.
Anytime you have a question for him, you say, Alex, can you ask Pat this? And I will ask him.
Most definitely, I'll do that. So, Alex, why are you here with Pat?
Well, first I'm here because I'm the co-host of this podcast. I think it's been pretty obvious. But me and Pat actually started our own podcast. It dropped earlier this week. Called The Worst Parents Out There. We're both parents. Not good parents, but we think there's worse parents than us out there. So we decided to podcast about it.
But you're good at podcasting, but not parenting.
I've been called the Wayne Gretzky of podcasting.
You have been. I've heard that people email me all the time and say that. So
That's so odd that they email you that. They're afraid to tell me that in person. Say, hey, Mike, if you could let Alex know that he's the Wayne Gretzky of podcasting, in my opinion.
They even use Wayne Gretzky every time, too. I don't know why they don't say, like, Tom Brady or like Tiger Woods or something like that.
LeBron James, even.
Yeah, but the nickname isn't the Great One.
Yeah, you are the Great One.
Yeah,
Alex the Great,
Yeah, that's why I'm the Wayne Gretzky
historical.
of podcasting.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it because we have a lot to cover. But we got some dumb tech of the week, and it's parent-related because you guys are both parents celebrating that, I guess. But what's this dumb tech of the week you added in here, buddy?
So it's not a new tech, but it's something I stumbled across a couple weeks ago. It's called the Noogle. I don't know if you've seen this. So
no, I don't have kids.
I didn't. I had a kid. I guess it's been around for a couple years, at least 6. I couldn't find the exact date. Probably 8, I think.
The exact date. Please get us the exact date.
Well, I went to the company's headquarters in Idaho. I was banging on doors, shaking cages, and there was no one tell me when the company started.
I'm sorry. Shaking cages?
Yeah, there was cages that I was shaking. But the Noogle is a thing. So cars get hot in the sunlight, and they heat up. And in the back seat, it's too hot for your kid. So it's like an extension of your vent. It's pretty much like a plastic tube that goes from your vent to the back seat, so your kid can get a fan on them.
I just looked at the picture and I thought maybe you didn't want to hear the baby music, so it was like a funnel funneled music from the front seat to the back seat or something stupid like that.
No, baby. So yeah, it's I don't know, like $50. They have different sizes for real facing kids, front facing. I don't know. To me, it's just like a non-needed technology.
So this is just creature comforts for kids that can't even say, hey, I'm too hot. Like,
yeah, just looking at it, it seems like this would be good for like a sedan. Don't most like SUVs and minivans have vents in the back?
They do, but they have those small crappy vents at the bottom of your feet.
Are you secretly selling this? Are you like getting a boost of money if somebody buys a Noogle?
I mean, he did go to Idaho shaking cages, so...
There's a link.
You know a lot about the headquarters, so
I did my research. I am the greatest podcaster of all time, the great one.
Right.
So I do my research. No, but you can sign up and create a link, and then if somebody buys your link, you get 15% of the sale. So you can make money. I could make money off this.
No, we're not selling Noogles.
No, I have no desire to, but it's just something not needed, and kids should learn that the car's hot and you have to blast the air conditioner to get cooled down.
Yeah, like I never had that when I was a kid, so why should kids have this?
No, and
the planet's only getting hotter, so.
Well, that's if you believe that fake science that's going around.
The fake science of what?
Global warming.
I guess that's dumb too, huh?
Yeah, that's the real dumb tech of the week, global warming. I'm just kidding. I do believe in global warming. It's a problem that we should deal with.
We almost canceled you. We were this close to getting you canceled, and you saved yourself there, buddy.
But this kind of ties into our bizarre tech of the week, Mike. Helping the environment.
Yes, you are bizarre, and this is tech.
Somebody out there is proposing to recycle face masks and combine it with, I guess, used cement from buildings that have been torn down or old roads, and combine the two together. What do you think you would get out of that? Stronger roads, they say. I don't buy it, but where are they going to get all these face masks? Are they going to have to get some sort of program together to collect face masks off the side of the road, or what? I don't understand this story.
I don't know. They do say that we use 6.8 billion face masks across the globe each day, so they're around. I mean, we're using them.
What's RMIT University? I don't know that acronym, but I guess a group of researchers there developed a type of cement that uses like ground up face mask with the cement to make a stronger material. So supposedly this is a good way to recycle both the cement and the face mask. I guess that's just one idea, but is this feasible? I think, Pat, you said something about working on the road construction crew.
Yeah. So I used to sling tarmac. I threw down asphalt for a couple years here, but no, I mean, it's nice. It's a great idea, but yeah, you're gonna have to somehow have some sort of program to collect all these masks. And on top of it, asphalt and concrete are already like one of the most recycled materials on the planet. So there's like massive piles of it just sitting at asphalt and concrete plants, just waiting to be used, because you can only put back like 20 to 40% of that content back into new asphalt if you want to use recycled content. So I don't know. Then they're gonna put masks in it too. Like, I don't know. It's just more stuff piling up that we just have. It's just, I think, a matter of just using less of everything. Not really like, let's find a way to, I don't know.
Well, they said if you use 3 million masks, you could be able to create 1 kilometer of 2-lane road and cut down on 93 tons of waste. So I think the idea is there. They supposedly, like, the mass helps the concrete, like, it's a little bit more flexible, makes it a little bit more sturdy. I mean, I'm all for like being able to recycle stuff to cut down on waste. I think if we can find a way, because there's just a ton of mass out there. It's annoying when you're walking down like downtown and you just see mass.
I see them blowing in the wind like all over the place, like tumbleweeds.
Yeah, I got a few in my backyard that I have to go pick up because they're just random masks just floating around.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but once people stop using face masks as much, I feel like the need for this would probably dry up pretty fast as well.
Well,
until the next pandemic.
Yeah. Don't advertise that.
Well, unless we can like get our name on it ahead of time, like the Futuritarian presents pandemic, and then it'll be named after us.
I don't think we're going to be covering the next pandemic. We'll be the next victims, I feel like, but. So let's jump into our tech news bites of the week. Going off of our parenting theme, the first one is the Chromecast with Google TV is getting kids profiles. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just everybody else is doing it, and Google is pretty much the last one. I mean, Disney Plus has it, Netflix has it, Hulu has it, and like Google really right now, you don't have your own profile. But yeah, they're going to gear it to kids and have different themes like dinosaur, space, or under the sea. I mean, that's pretty much it. So
these are for parents that just give the kid their remote and walk out the room and go get a beer or something?
Yeah, that's how you parent.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And like they're like attaching to the app so you can push educational content on the TV. I think Google's really making a push for the TV since it's now the Google TV, no longer the Android TV. I think they're really making a push to compete in that field.
I love mine. I have two. So I think it's fantastic. Pat, you have anything to add for this one, or you want to jump on to the next story?
Yeah, no, I agree with Alex on this. I mean, it seems like everybody else is doing it. They're just hopping on at the tail end here. I like Google. I like Google TV. Yeah.
He seems like a very, very passionate user. Let's jump on to something that's in the Google TV, and that's Netflix. But this is not part of the actual TV app. This is your phone. So Netflix has a new add-on to their app called Fast Laughs, which is probably need to rework that, but it's a TikTok-style comedy feed for your phone. I guess it's like 20-second, 15-second, I think up to 60 or 45-second clips of comedy shows.
So my complaint is like it's TikTok-style clips. It says clips. They're showing you funny clips from TV shows and stand-up specials and movies. It's not like TikTok style. They're just showing you a short clip of something.
I think it's TikTok style because it's like the app TikTok is like a scrolling thing where you could scroll through clips. So I think it's talking about that aspect of it. And maybe, I don't think it's TikTok style outside of that.
So it's not new content. It's just
it's
clips of existing content.
Of shows, and like if you like the show, you can hit the LOL button.
That's stupid. That's dumb. Like you can basically laugh at it, and it just shows a laughing emoji on there.
But like if you like something, you can click on it, or take you to the special. It's just advertisement. That's
just advertisements. It's basically watching ads.
Remember Quibi? Is that what it was called? Quibi? I mean, isn't
Quibi? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that failed. Like, isn't this like the same?
Quibi was like 10-minute episodes that you're supposed to watch on your phone. This is just like, it's pretty much just clips of
it's ads basically.
Yeah. And like you can scroll.
It's on
through.
the bottom, like on the there's like the home tab and the other tabs. They added it as a tab on iOS. It's not an Android thing, thank God. But I would try it out if it was.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That should have been a dumb tech of the week.
Yeah, probably. That should have been up there with the dumb tech of the week, not the Noogle, whatever they called it. That's sad. All right, next one is Tesla is building a 100 megawatt energy storage project in Texas, and somehow this flew under the radar for a while, and people just started noticing that there was people with Tesla hard hats working out. And the news, I guess, went in to investigate, and they found out they were building this gigantic battery on the Texas grid.
Well, it's not under Tesla's actual name. It's the Gambit Energy Storage Company, which is like a subsidiary of Tesla. So, I mean, there hasn't been much news in the past couple months about Texas and their power grid.
Until they collapsed.
But, so... Tesla has done this at other places as well, but they're building like this battery generator that can power 20,000 homes, like right outside Houston. And I think you're going to see more and more of this. Didn't they say they built one in Australia too, right?
Yeah, there's a couple out there. But I was like more digging into like why they would build something like this, and it's not really, I don't think it's designed like if the power grid goes out that it's supposed to like support all these homes on its own. I think it's more of like, what I could gather at least is if they have like solar power and windmills and stuff like that, they could store power from those and use them like when they needed it. Because, that power is just being generated, and sometimes it's not 100% being used, and then it goes to waste. So it's a way to cut back on power being wasted, I guess.
Right.
And like, look, what you had in Texas a couple weeks ago would be like a perfect example of using this technology as like a backup. Especially with the grid, not being as stable as most.
They would have to build a whole ton of these if they wanted to back up anything.
Well, I think this is just a small town. Probably got either Tesla reached out to them or they reached out to Tesla and like, hey, can you build one of these? We'll pay you.
So you think it could be like more of a test thing, like testing it out?
I think so, to prove that they can do it. And Tesla does this a lot with a lot of their products with like SpaceX and all. They do little by little, and then sooner this kind of like takes off just to prove they could do it.
I hope it explodes like one of his rockets.
That would make the news big time, and the news loves to like attack him for any small little thing. So I'm sure if there's a screw up, they'll definitely rake him over the coals.
Well, I think sometimes he brings it upon himself because
he does.
He's an outspoken person of other people too. So like people like to see when he gets knocked down a peg.
He's like the Trump of tech, basically.
No, he's not that bad.
No, but he's said some pretty ridiculous things over the years. All right, let's jump into the next one. Have either of you guys ever used the web browser Brave?
No, never heard of it.
I have never heard of it.
So it's basically like an alternative to Chrome or Firefox. It's gotten more and more popular over the years. I think it was mainly popular like on Android phones. Then they made a desktop web browser, but basically it's a free web browser that I think they blocked ads for a while, so you could like have built-in ad blocking, and it was like a privacy first browser. And they got quite a following, and they decided that they're developing their own search engine on top of that, which I think is well overdue because Google does not really have hardly any competition in the web browser wars at all.
Whoa. That's bad-mouthing Bing. Bad-mouthing Bing over here.
I am bad-mouthing Bing, but I hate using Bing.
Bing's bad. Yahoo's bad.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so you were saying Brave has, like, 25 million monthly active users. So it's a decent-sized group of people using it. But, yeah, he just bought the company Tailcat. That was, like, a search company. But the real big push is privacy. They're not going to track you, what you're looking for, to push ads and all. You kind of saw Google announce this last week when they stopped third-party cookies. So I think more and more companies are going this way, because privacy is a big thing right now on the internet, and that's what people want, rightfully so. So, like, this company is, if it's going to be 100% privacy focused, I think you'll get more and more users as it gains popularity.
It's also like pay. You could either get free ad supported one, which is like not tracking ads, but more like you're just in this demographic, so they give you these ads, or you could pay them a monthly subscription cost and get 0 ads. But what I'm more excited about is I used to love Google search, and I feel like as time went on, it became harder and harder and harder to find like more stuff that wasn't popular. Like they bumped a bunch of stuff up that I guess somehow their algorithm pushes that forward, but it's really hard to find like random things on there sometimes. Like it's hard to, like the algorithm Google uses is secret, and you don't know like who's getting pushed forward and who's not. And they said they're going to use like more transparency with that, and I think the search results will probably be better, or hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, instead of giving you the top results that Google thinks you should see.
Yeah, it's hard to find some sorts of data like on there. Like I will be like researching something, and Google only wants to push forward like stuff that came out like the last year. Like it's hard to find older data for some reason sometimes on Chrome.
You have Google to go search to like the 6th or 7th page, and
even then, like it's very difficult to find certain things. I don't know why, but I feel like Google search used to be easier to parse through like big amounts of data.
What's your preference search method, Pat?
I mean, I use Google, I think, like most people, but I think this is a big deal. I like the privacy part of it. I think other search engines will start following once this becomes, popular and more people are using it. I think everybody's gonna either follow it or attempt or fake it. They'll say that you're, like Google will say that everything's private, but secretly sell your data.
Yeah, well, that's like the most popular thing to do now. I feel like for businesses is to go privacy first. Like, I think Apple started like a couple years ago, really pushing it, and who else? I guess Google's kind of jumping on that. Facebook supposedly is doing that as well with their chat messaging soon. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
well, and then they're saying that's why I wanted to look up DuckDuckGo, which is powered by Microsoft. It's another privacy search engine. I've heard of them, but I never used them. I might check.
It's such a long. I'm not typing DuckDuckGo into the web browser. No, thank you. Brave is a little bit shorter. I could maybe stomach doing that, but I'm not going to a website called DuckDuckGo. I'm sorry.
Well, I thought Brave was based off the Pixar movie, and I was kind of disappointed when it was just a search engine, not a fan site.
I think the weirdest search engine name that I remember is AskJeeves.com. Do you remember that?
I used to use Ask Jeeves all the time.
And then they shortened it to Ask because nobody wanted to type in AskJeeves.com.
Well, like I felt like they were like the biggest, and then Google just came along. It was just so much simpler and went a lot faster.
But yeah, Ask Jeeves was popular for maybe 6 months or a year, I feel like. Yeah. They had their day in the sun, but I don't know if they're still around.
It's made fun of a lot, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel like when people are making fun of the internet, they're always like making fun of like Ralph Rex, the internet, like that knows more. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like it's supposed to be like an XG's reference, which doesn't make sense because people haven't used it in forever.
Let's jump in the next story. And recently, senators asked the FCC to change the definition of high-speed broadband. This is new to me because I didn't realize there was a government official definition for broadband in the first place. Did you guys know? Or
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they do this every, I don't want to say few years, but, every time this technology progresses, they have to adjust it, based on whether, we move to DSL or broadband or whatever.
I guess the current, definition was 25 megabits per second or better, which that's pretty slow in modern standards.
Yeah, I don't know if really anybody has that besides the rural areas. I think most cities probably have it, but I wonder if this is a thing for I don't know bylaws of states and things like that. But if you're gonna work in this area, you have to at least offer the minimum of broadband. And these companies are doing it.
That's what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, but they're trying to push it to 100.
Which is still not great, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, and if I was looking at the senators that pushed it, and it's a bipartisan group effort, but it's who is it? It's Rob Portman from Ohio.
Michael Bennett, Angus King,
and
Joe Manchin.
And Manchin is from West Virginia, which makes sense why he would support this. King is from Maine, which probably has a lot of rural. I think has a lot of rural areas. Ohio is a big farming state. Makes sense why Portman wants this to be better. So it makes sense if you're looking at the senators that are backing it. That because this would benefit farmers with the new technology on tractors that we've talked about before. Yeah. It would benefit a lot of people updating the minimum broadband that these companies have to offer. So I don't see why it shouldn't pass, especially because a lot of these companies already have the technology. They just don't.
To bump it up.
It's usually not worth their effort in the rural areas, but it'd be nice to get that out there.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, I don't think any of us would be that affected by this, but, it's not about us, really. It's about people who don't have access to the best stuff, so.
I think the fear is the possibility of providers then jacking up prices.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then they can make the excuse the government made us install all this new cabling and we have to boost the prices on you guys. Sorry. And unfortunately, the government can't provide you internet because we passed a bill last week that said the government can't provide internet anymore.
Oh, I didn't pass it. It was proposed by the House.
I know it was proposed. I'm just,
But it still isn't a public utility. So
yeah. Which I said last week, I think it should be with the option to opt out, but everybody should, I think, at this point have basic internet.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, definitely. I would say. Let's jump into our next one, and this one's a little out there. I don't know if this will ever happen, and they are pretty confident of this when it's going to be ready. But the world's first space hotel is going to be being built by 2026, and they said that you can book a room by 2027. I don't buy this for a minute, but it's fun to imagine what this could look like.
Well, yeah, it's the Gateway Foundation. They're building a cruise ship style hotel in space. So what it is like 24 modules on the end with elevator shafts going to like a central location. And so it's been creating like the gravity on the outside with less gravity in the middle. It's like kind of like if you're spinning. I know we've all seen the movie classic Mortal Kombat when Liu Kang is fighting Sub-Zero and he's spinning the bucket of water, and no water's coming out because he's spinning it so fast, and then he throws it at him and defeats Sub-Zero. So it's like kind of like that thinking. So like, but they'll have like hotel rooms, restaurants, and bars all on this cruise ship in space.
So what I don't understand is I don't know if they've ever actually tested artificial gravity in space, like because I don't think maybe they just haven't built a structure in space that can do this yet, but I don't think they've developed this in space at all yet. Like, do you know of any artificial gravity ever been done in space before? I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know.
I hope it explodes like one of Elon Musk's stupid rockets.
You just want people to die, man. It's crazy.
We want it to explode when no one gets hurt.
Well, apparently John Taffer wants to get on this hotel thing, so I guess we can hold off on blowing it up because he's going to be our next president. So
it just seems like pie in the sky. And first of all, they haven't even started offering you can buy a ticket to go to space, but they haven't actually scheduled the first trip, I don't think. But just going to space is $250,000 for one ticket. So imagine the cost of like flying up to this cruise ship space station.
Well, and they're thinking like over time it would become like going like to Disneyland or Disney World, but like how far in the future is that? Like 100 years maybe?
Yeah.
Like, but like I don't know. I have no desire to vacation in space.
I think it would be awesome, but I'm not going to be the first one up there. I'll tell you that much.
Not if they offer it for free. Like, hey, Mike.
Not if Pat is a prophet and knows that something's going to happen. No, thank you.
Not even if John Taffer's up there with you.
I don't know. I feel like he'd be staying in his own suite, far away from me.
Well, like, I don't know. It'd be cool to do, like, the waitlist stuff, and they probably have, like, different activities for that. But, like, I don't know. You ever been on, like, a cruise ship? We went on a cruise ship.
No, I refuse.
That sounds like you. But it was, like, 2 days at sea because you were leaving from Baltimore to go to the Caribbean. And, like, there's not much to do. And, like, you're just on a boat for 2 days. Like, I can't just imagine being in space. Because, like, after a while, like, how often can you just look at the Earth from space?
I don't know. It's probably pretty amazing.
I don't know. Disney is building this new restaurant that should open soon, Space 220. And it's supposed to be like you're eating 220 miles up and, like, have the different views of the world. I'll just do that. It'll be a hell of a lot cheaper.
Are you actually up that high, or?
Nah, it's supposed to be like
Disney World.
Did you not see the giant? Have you not seen the new pictures of the giant tunnel that they have built
to space?
The elevator ship.
That's the big one coming this year.
No, supposedly they have it's supposed to be like an elevator that takes you up, and you feel like you're going up there, and then like they have like these special like glass screens that are supposed to
mimic space.
Oh, it's all an illusion.
Yeah.
Do they have your food
effects
dangling from the ceiling with like a rope so it looks like they're floating in space?
Yeah. It's a guy with a fishing rod and he moves it up and down. But
your fried chicken's floating around.
But like whatever glass they use is like has to be like custom made because like one accidentally broke and like put them behind like a couple of weeks where they had a replacement made.
I mean, that sounds cool. Like I usually think most Disney stuff sounds horrible, but this is something I would eat at.
Yeah,
Probably a
like
lot cheaper.
all the stuff looks cool, but like Disney, like building a giant like elevator space, so like a couple of the rides are just short enough. I think it's like 200 feet that they don't have to put like they build them at like 199, so you don't have to put like a light on top of them for airplanes. So you do it just underneath it, so it doesn't ruin the aesthetic.
Oh my gosh, Disney's so about their image. So, but do you know what would be more awesome than eating in space? A 4-day work week. Yeah, boy.
That's
yeah,
the
boy.
dream.
That's the dream right there. So in Spain, I think they're broke, but anyways, they're doing this. Spain is testing out a 4-day work week in response to the coronavirus pandemic. And I don't know. They said that this could be like more of a permanent thing in a lot of countries going forward just because automation and all sorts of shifts in like how we live our lives. Pat, what do you think of this 4-day work week?
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago in New Zealand, the financial industry tried this, and they did it. Now they're doing it permanently, I believe. Yeah, if they can do it and still, stay viable and stuff, it's a no-brainer. Plus, on top of it, productivity has gone up, tenfold since probably like the 70s, and we're still working the same hours, if not longer. So
yeah, I tell Alex all the time, like you could probably get most of your work done if you had to in less time, but people like, do nothing at work sometimes, like walk around, talk, or like go get water, all sorts of stuff that they just slows down the work day.
Well, I think it's crazy, like our idea of wanting to work, like I don't know, like to me, like my job isn't as important as me just being at home. Like, and like when I'm off work, I'm off work. I don't think about my job. I don't, my family knows I work for a company, but they have no idea what I do because I don't talk about it. But like, so I think like the 4-day work week, I think it definitely could be done. I think it's just like an outdated idea of wanting to work all the time and having to do these 40-hour work weeks, or like putting in all this.
All these hours are arbitrary anyways. Like we made up the 40-hour work week. It's not like set in stone somewhere.
Yeah, no, and that was to protect workers. Companies were having people work more than 40 hours a week.
The unions fought for the Haymarket protest. There was actually a bombing, but without throwing
bombs work.
Yeah, I was going to say without throwing the bomb, you wouldn't have you wouldn't have the 40-hour work week if it wasn't for somebody throwing a bomb in Haymarket Square in Chicago.
Well, they were showing like
you're welcome.
The UK has like people on average are working, since they're working from home, 20 hours of overtime a month since the pandemic. People at home just thinking they have to work more.
Right.
And like I just don't think it's healthy.
No, I don't think it is either. I think the human mind functions better when it's not like nonstop stress and like you're just under pressure to get stuff done like nonstop. I think they've done studies that 6-hour work days are better than 8-hour work days, just because like your mind gets exhausted throughout the day and you just start slowing down towards the end of the day and making mistakes.
Well, and there's definitely time that like I think I could probably do most of my work in 32 hours.
But even if you couldn't, Alex, the thing is this proposal would also probably add additional jobs because they'd have to fill in the gaps somewhere. Yeah. For some industries, so this would actually add workers to the workforce probably in some industries. So some areas where there's not many job opportunities, this could add additional job opportunities. And they said it wouldn't be a huge, crazy cost to the businesses to keep the pay the same and reduce the hours. Like I'm not seeing a huge it's going to ruin this whole industry if they had to do that.
No, and I think I don't know, you saw Microsoft Japan for a month. They gave 2,300 employees Fridays off, and they saw productivity jump 40%. So I think I don't know, most companies, they have a lot of like this dead time. Also, like, I think it would even help because I find this annoying. A lot of companies do this where like you don't get paid for lunch. So like they instituted this 8-hour workday, and it used to be like part of your 8 hours was a lunch break. But now it's like, oh, your lunch break is additional to the 8 hours that you're working. So like, you're technically at work. Like if you have a 45-minute lunch, you're at work 8 hours and 45 minutes.
Plus the drive
Yeah,
time
and,
there
like,
and the drive time
it's
home.
a big part of your day. Like I had a job where I just worked 8 hours, and it was so much better because I had like lunch built into that time. And like it was a lot better than, it's like the day was a lot shorter than that 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm on salary, so I just eat my lunch at my desk or whatever. Or so I work 8 hours a day, pretty much on the dot.
Right.
But yeah, I still would like to see 4 days a week, and I don't even like the idea of working 4 10s either. Like I don't think that's necessary, because that's still a just shifting the time around. So I'm all for 32 hours, 4 days a week.
Yeah,
and I think
that's a
some
big
people have
victory, I
even
would
gone
say.
further than that. But I don't think they should bite off more than they can chew right now. I think maybe getting down to 4 days a week, 32-hour shifts, 32-hour per week is probably a good thing to shoot for. And I think probably there's some companies in America that are doing this on their own accord. I think I've heard of that. Some companies doing that.
What? I think you'll see if a lot more companies catch on that they're being able to keep employees or getting people to work for them, they'll move to 4 days, and like it would be a slow cultural shift. Because like that's the thing with companies is like you have to keep like, especially you're seeing that in like the tech world, like keeping people happy, and like you're losing talent to other companies. You have to match what they're doing.
But the thing is some industries seems like they still haven't figured out a way to like work their employees right. Like the video game industry always comes up because they seem like they always have crunch and like work their employees overboard. So I don't know if this can be done in like every industry. Maybe it can, and maybe we'll just have to wait longer for certain things to come out. I don't know. Like some people are just like really passionate about work, and they just want to like do like what they're good at. And I feel like maybe those industries leave it up to the individual. If they want to get paid more, they want to get paid more. But pushing papers or, doing IT or random stuff that's just, normal work, I don't see the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
You want to move on?
We've all seen the movie Children of Men, right? Everybody's seen that? Yeah. So in that movie, nobody had children. Nobody at all. They couldn't possibly have children anymore. And it was a big crisis. Ours is not that bad. People can still have children, but they're deciding not to. And I guess it's becoming a problem in America. Or a crisis, this news story says. So, Alex, Pat, is this a crisis? As parents, do you think this is a crisis?
I say no.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crisis yet, but it's most certainly leading in that direction. There's plenty of countries in Europe that have been going through this since since last century. And what they do is they pay people to have kids. So, like we have a tax rebate. If you have kids, well, they give you like an allowance monthly or yearly, to have kids, and it can go towards childcare and, basically whatever you want to use it towards your kids. But to me, that's what the problem is here is it's so expensive to have kids. The hospital bill, let alone, raising one. And then our generation, especially, I feel like, whether it's jobs or, your professional or work life, you either A, don't have time for it, or B, I think again just goes back to can't afford it.
Yeah, so they're saying birth rates are down 7% over the year since December.
How many?
7% of December since last December.
Yeah, they thought there was going to be a boom during the pandemic, and there wasn't.
Yeah, I would think so too. So that didn't actually happen. There wasn't a pandemic
people
boom.
People go at home. They're just going to be having sex all the time and having kids.
They'll be fighting probably.
No, but also taking into account. I know people that were trying to have kids but are scared of what the effects of getting COVID would have on your baby and things like that. And I know people that are afraid.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
If they're waiting till the vaccine came out, and especially if it's your first kid, you're not allowed in for the ultrasounds at a lot of places, so the dad can't go in. It's just the mom going alone. People don't want to do that, so I understand why people are waiting till afterwards. I think you might see a boom after this.
Afterwards,
yeah, but
well, I mean, also some people still wait till they're married, and there's probably been a decline in marriages as well.
Well, I think people are having kids older. People are having less kids. They said the average woman had 4 kids in the 1950s. That's down to 2 kids. I think you're seeing a couple of things, because it used to be a big, especially if you were Catholic, to have a big Catholic family, have as much kids as possible. And that was just the old way of thinking of building your population of your country. You people had kids to have people work on the farms and things like that to take care of the house, and we don't need that stuff anymore. And then with kids being more expensive and I'm not home a lot, but working all I can't imagine having 3 kids and trying to spend time with all 3 kids equally. I think this is a lot. I think
the part of this article that really got me was, it says we need to have enough working age people to carry the load of these seniors who deserve their retirement. They deserve all their entitlements. And they're going to live out another 30 years. Nobody in the history of the globe has had so many older people to deal with.
Yeah.
Than America?
I think that's the...
Come on. How
I think that's over the whole earth, right?
Yeah, but what do you...
How entitled, how narcissistic, come on.
You can tell it's somebody who's about to retire.
Yeah.
But what do you want? Because in the 70s, it was all about overpopulation, and it's always been about overpopulation. The human race is overgrowing the population. We need, and then technology always bails us out. But what do you want? By they're saying the population is going to peak by 2064, and then fall by the end of the century.
It's just society is going to change though, because maybe our group of people might not reproduce as much, but there's the culture from Mexico, for instance, they have a lot more children than we would, or a bunch of other cultures. The country's going to be more of a, I think more of a melting, but I think we're just going to be a more diverse country.
I think they say
going forward.
Developed countries tend to have less kids than developing
it's
countries.
It's more of a class where your country is developmentally. You can skip past everything in this article and just go to that last quote, that last paragraph. I mean, the answer's right there. It's the cost of housing, the cost of education. Yeah. All these things have become more and more difficult. Boomers themselves don't realize how much harder it is for millennials today. And they think, oh, yeah, when we were growing up, we had very little money. Well, things didn't cost as much,
Well, it is funny. Like my mom said, I could pay for one year of college with my summer job.
Right.
I'm like, that would be impossible to have a summer job now and pay for your college.
I can pay for a class for the whole year?
Maybe, if you're lucky. Yeah. So I guess they don't quite understand that certain things, the cost has multiplied by a ton, and the pay hasn't necessarily multiplied to equal that out at all.
No, and
right.
It's really is a cost, because I don't know, me and my wife talked about maybe having a 3rd kid, and we just can't afford it. Especially
you think it's
what?
A costing all across the board?
I think it's costing. I think people look at you could have a bunch of kids and struggle to get by, or you can have maybe 1 or 2 kids and.
But it's also a religious thing, because I feel religion's not quite as popular as it once was in this country, and I feel like at least a lot of the Christian sects would preach like have as many kids as possible, and like there's still like churches in our area that have like 5-6 kids a family.
Yeah, I think that's
vasectomies help too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're seeing that. I think you're seeing people have kids older in life, so they'll wait until they're 30, and when you're at that age, you're like, I don't want that many kids.
Or there might be some difficulties, so you don't want to push it.
Also, more. I guess more people are working. Like both the husband and the wife are working. So, like you said, the daycare costs. Yeah, so come back to that, but because they're basically forced you can't like get by anymore. It seems like without having two parents working, it's you're lucky if you can get by with just one job.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I think you're seeing more. I just think like people are just changing. Like the idea of us having that many kids is not appealing to people, I think, anymore. Like. I do think some people like a big family, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's dying off.
Yeah. But like also like that, I go back to like all three of us are from decent sized families.
I have 5 sisters. Yeah. Alex has 4 brothers or 5 brothers?
4 brothers. Pat has 3.
Okay.
He's the handsome one of the family.
Damn right.
What you call it? But like I just think like. But I go back to like, we're worried about overpopulation, and like the whole concern of the article is we can't take care of the old people, because we're having less people, and like I don't see that as like a problem, like or the population problem. I think like maybe we need to start having less kids to keep our like resources plentiful and things like that. Like we'll find a way to take care of the old people.
Well, I think in the system how it's built now, the current system we're in, that's what they're talking about, and I think that's what is causing fear and like we're not going to be able to help,
Well, like that's
and people are living longer too.
Yeah, people are living longer as well.
And this,
so I think they're going to have to change the system a little bit. Like they
already have a system to do it. Logan's Run. Well, you hit a certain age, you get killed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, if you think it's a problem, do us a favor and die. Like if you think it's a big deal, then you can be the first to go.
Yeah, you don't want to watch that documentary that about old people killing themselves in I think it's Washington State.
Assisted suicide, right?
Yeah, that's like the saddest documentary I've ever watched. I think I made it like 20 minutes through.
Me and my wife just talked about like assisted suicide, and I am all on board on assisted suicide. Like if you have like a terminal disease and you're still in right mind and want to do it, I am all for you having that ability to do it. It's like the idea of like, we just have to keep this person alive because that's the thing to do. But if they want to end it, especially some diseases where like your mind goes and things like that, or you lose your mobility and can't do anything, and you want to end it before you go out. Like I think you should have that right. The assistant. So this is like a whole nother topic we could talk about.
Yeah.
I was going to make another comment before you talked about assisted suicide, because like me.
I threw you way off with that one.
Well, because we were talking about like people like euthanizing pets when they get too sick. And like to put them out of their misery, but we won't do that for humans. Like, and I don't think somebody should be able to make that call. I think the person should make that call, but I think you should have the right over your own life.
I think their pet should make that call.
Yeah, your dog just puts the thumb down.
No, they make those sound effect boards now where the dog can hit it and talk to you. Supposedly, it doesn't work. It's dumb. It's fake. But you could have one on there that says "kill me."
But and like going back to how things cost more, like especially like with people in like the 70s and 80s, like a lot of them had pensions, so it's like something like you didn't have to save for your retirement. Like part of our thing now is like we have to save for our retirement. That's like
I'm storing up canned goods in the basement right now, just ready for retirement.
Canned goods aren't going to skyrocket in value, right, Mike?
Oh, dang it. But I will eat like a king when I retire.
Well, I don't know. I'm done on this topic. It's been all over the place.
Let's jump into Alex's parenting quiz. He always has a quiz when there's a guest.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's like Bob Barker or something like that in his head.
Did Bob Barker give a lot of quizzes?
I don't
There's people who
remember.
went with like Alice Trebek or something like that. But
Bob Barker's Price is Right. That's not a quiz.
well, my first question is, how much does this cost? Okay, so as it goes, standard Future Jam quiz. I'm going to give you two things. You tell me what came first, and I will keep score. I will put an M for. I'll put it on this paper. M for Mike, and P for Pat.
Is it just whoever answers first, or whoever gets it?
No, you'll each get a get. You'll each get a
see.
guess, and you just. So you can pick the same thing. You can pick different things.
I'm going to pick the same thing Mike does every single time so that we tie.
Mike is 2-0.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't lose on my own show.
Yeah. So, what came first? The first baby bouncer or the first car seat?
You go first, Pat. You're the guest.
Baby bouncer.
I'm going baby bouncer as well.
And no one gets a point.
Wow.
Actually, no, I take that back. You did get it right. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say.
1-1.
I'm sure cavemen had some way to bounce babies.
No, because I read it wrong. Sorry. So
You're morons, both of you. Wait, nope. Sorry. No, you got it right.
No, so you'll see why when I read it, because I was looking at the wrong dates. So the first baby bouncer was the Jolly Jumper, invented in 1910, but it wasn't produced until 1948. But there was some other patents, because they say Jolly Jumper says they were the first one, but there was other.
How many kids died in that thing before they released it? Like 20, 30 years later?
But they said there's been patents for bouncers since like the 1880s. So the first car seat was produced in 1933 by Bunny Bell Company, and it was so parents could keep an eye on their kids while they were in the back seat, not really for safety.
Wow. I mean, that's still way sooner than I assumed.
They didn't care about safety.
And then in the 40s, the front seat was made so kids can see over out the window, the windshield.
Oh, that's safe.
And then in 1962 was when the first car seat was made for safety.
See, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So you each get a point on that one.
Yes.
So this one is also a question. What came first, the stroller or the crib?
I'm going to go with the crib.
I think this is a trick question. I'm going stroller.
Pat gets the point. The earliest crib dates back to 1620.
I knew he was right, but I just went stroller.
And the stroller was invented in 1733 by William Kent.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's older than I thought.
I mean, they had him in that Charles Dickens book, right? So.
What, a Christmas
Yeah.
Carol? No, Scrooge walks around. He's not in a stroller.
But he's in like a little baby carriage when he goes back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like more where they like laid flat. I think it was like the first stroller. This is where it gets tough. The first few questions were kind of easy. What came first, Pampers or Huggies?
Ooh. You know, I gotta go Pampers. It's my brand. Going with Pampers.
Huggies just sounds friendly. I'll go Huggies.
Yeah, Pat is taking a 3-1 lead.
Boom.
He's not losing this one.
Pampers were founded in 1961 by Procter & Gamble, and Huggies were tested in 1968 and introduced in the public in 1978. This is a long-ass time to test diapers.
Again, a lot of baby issues there.
Now, this next one this one's for Mike. This is a gimme. What came first, Fisher Price or Maytel?
How is this a gimme? I'm going Maytel.
Let's just do it. Fisher Price.
Yeah, Pat is taking a 4-1 lead. Fisher Price was founded in 1931. Their first toy was a Dr. Doodle Duck. It was a pull toy, and you pulled it. Mattel was founded in 1945. Originally sold picture frames and dollhouse furniture. And then their first toy was a ukulele called the Ukie Doodle.
Nice.
So, but now Mattel owns Fisher-Price, so.
Who got the last laugh,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, who got the last laugh on that one?
And the final question, another one that Mike should get. What came first, Disney Channel or Nickelodeon?
Ooh.
I'm going Nickelodeon.
I'll go Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon came first. You both get the point. Pat goes the perfect 5 for 5.
Didn't realize that. I thought I got
Nickelodeon launched in 1977 as a test program in Columbus, Ohio, and nationally April 1st, 1979. Disney Channel launched in 1983.
way earlier than I thought for both of those.
Yeah, when I was looking them up, I thought Nickelodeon was after. 'Cause I just think it.
Was that, I guess, right when cable television was getting popular?
I think so. Nickelodeon used to be like commercial free for a while, and then they started selling commercials.
Was Nickelodeon over the air ever, or was it just only cable? Both
I think
of those?
that's only cable, and then they added like MTV and things like that. Owned by Viacom, Viacom CBS now. You can find it on Paramount Plus.
Oh, plug there. Nobody's going to get that.
Well, that's the end of our quiz. Thanks for playing.
All right. So thanks for winning, Pat. And you're never coming back to the show because of that. But yeah, feel free to listen to Alex's and Pat's show, The Worstest Parents in the Universe.
Worst parents out there. Thank you, Mike.
Worst parents out there. Sorry. I was just giving my own feelings there and letting that cloud my.
Well, Mike, if it
judgment
makes
on
you feel any better, it is nowhere close to as good as this podcast. So,
well, I'm sure it's great. If anybody who wants to be a parent or thinks about parents or is a parent, take a gander and listen to this show.
Yeah,
what is it about? Is it like comedy? Is it?
It's 100% straight, no jokes.
Do you guys put together kids stuff like cribs and stuff like that, live on air? Or?
That would be entertaining. Now I'm twisting the screw. No, we talk all things parenting. Our first episode dropped this week. We inducted a person into the Worst Parents Hall of Fame. We talk different topics, news topics. People have questions. You have any questions you want us to answer about parenting, Mike?
well, if you do, shoot us an email at worstparentsouthere at gmail.com. Sorry, and let us know, and we'll answer it on the podcast.
Yeah, follow us at Instagram and Twitter. Also follow the Future Jam at Instagram and Twitter. And email the Future Jam if you have a question at thefuturejam@gmail.com, or give us a call at 513-BOT-COLA.
Yeah, do all that and check out the show. And thanks for coming on, Pat. And Alex, get out of here.
Thanks for having me.
You guys have a great day.